naputol.
Hey, what's going on? Ayaw niya. Let's play it.
Why'd you stop it?
Okay, we just had to go through that because it's our usual intro. And that's what we do. But if everybody is asking, I'm in the middle of traffic. I've been on EDSA for the last 2 hours. We hit EDSA at 5 o'clock. It's already 7 o'clock. I came from Tanay, but we hit EDSA in Santolan at about 5 o'clock. It's already 7 o'clock. And I'm still, I haven't even reached Buendia. That's how terrible it is. If you guys want to see right there, maybe you can see the kind of traffic that I'm in. Yeah.
That's like the traffic we were in some weeks back, huh?
Yeah. It's the same kind of traffic we were in a few weeks back, Neil. So, good evening, everyone. This is Kalye-Tok by Autocar. My name is Ira Panganiban.
My name is Neil.
Ega here. Good evening.
Good evening.
One of those days.
Okay, let's get into the groove now. Let's get right into business. Let's talk about it because everybody's talking about it. People on my wall are going crazy. People are fighting over it. I might as well start the discussion. We're going to talk about the BOSS Ironman so-called Endurance Challenge. The BOSS Ironman people, the BOSS people, BMW, what's that? Owners Society for Safe Riders are claiming it is not a race. It is an endurance challenge.
Okay, can we have a bit of a background on the BOSS Ironman? Ano ba yun? What actually happens there? And ano ba yun? How do you join? Do you pay? Do you, I don't know what.
They pay.
Right.
So siguro si Egay can
shed some light on it. You can explain better.
Yes. Anyone with a motorcycle 400 minimum of 400 cc, no, and up can join as long as you have a valid driver's license. Syempre kailangan merong number 2 restriction which is motorcycle, di ba? And then yun lang, no? Safety gear. Syempre, helmet. You get a reflectorized vest from them. That's part of what you pay for. And then, nagsimula yan. Actually, hindi ko alam kung 20 years ago, 19 years ago. Okay, so through the years, palaki yung participants. Lumalaki sila. Kaya lang, nung sikat na ang social media, marami na nagvi-video, di ba? Medyo in-avoid na nila yung first to arrive, hindi na nila pinapublicize yung mga talagang nanalo. Okay, kasi maraming umaangal. You are not allowed to speed on public roads. Unang-una, di ba? Pangalawa, sa lahat naman ng, hindi ko alam kung sa lahat, pero hindi ito ang unang pagkakataon na merong na-disgrasya at namatay. Marami na. So if you notice guys on social media, sobrang dami na yung against this Ironman because again, kahit na sabihin man ng organizer na it's not a race, the participants binabaliwala naman nila yung speed limit. Diba? Unang-una, may tanong ako. Kada participant ba alam ba nila ang speed limit ng kada kalsada natin? Like for example, this recently concluded Ironman, no? Ang understanding ko, ang highway lang nila SCTEX. Okay, siguro sa SCTEX alam nila na 100 ang speed limit. Ang tanong, ilan sa kanila ang nag-stick to 100 or below? I'm talking about SETEX.
Oo.
Ang tanong ko, yung mga participants, alam ba nila ang speed limit sa secondary road, sa provincial roads, alam ba nila? I'm sure merong magsasabi diyan.
Actually, no? Marami ng bayan na hindi nila madaanan kasi ginawa na silang bawal. Particular na, nagpasa na they passed ordinances that are saying that the BOSS Ironman Endurance Challenge is not welcome and they will be arrested if they pass through their municipalities, through their LGUs.
Yes, and the organizers keep saying, in as much as maglabas sila ng rules and regulations nila, hindi naman sinusunod ng ibang participants. Okay, naintindihan ko sila doon. Pero, ilang taon na kayo? Ilang taon nyo nang ginagawa? Diba? Meron bang nagbabago? Lagi namang may aksidente, lagi namang may namamatay. Damage to public property. Kahit nga ayaw nating sabihin na, sana kung participants lang ang madidisgrasya, di ba? Ayaw rin nating sabihin yon. Pero sige, sana kung kayo-kayo lang na aksidente, sige na lang, kayo yan eh. Kaya lang, ang dami niyong dinadamay. Di ba? Ang daming nadadamay. Hindi natin sinasadya ito. Accidents nga eh. Pero
sa akin kanina eh. Meron nag-comment doon sa post ko kanina eh. Sabi niya, kung ganyan, di itigil na natin yung Nazareno, yung Black Nazarene, at saka yung mga prosesyon dahil ang daming namamatay. Sabi ko, alam mo may sumagot eh. Ang problema doon, ang kaibahan ng Black Nazarene dyan sa BOSS Ironman nyo, yung Black Nazarene, yung mga nandun, willingly na nagpupunta yung doon, alam nila yung papasukin nila at kung sila man na madisgrasya, alam nila yon. Yung BOSS Ironman, nananahimik yung mga tao sa gilid ng kalyeng naglalakad. May motorista, driver, nananahimik na nagmamaneho, liliko, may biglang mag-overtake ng motorsiklo. Nakasali sa BOSS Ironman. Pag nabangga, yun pang inosenteng motorista ang pinalalabas nilang may kasalanan pag nag-post sila. Bigla daw lumiko, bigla daw kumaliwa. Ang hindi ko maintindihan, yung mga pulis, yung mga politiko, yung mga sundalo, walang ginagawa kasi wag na tayo magbolahan, marami sa kanila, mga general pa naman, kasali dun sa BOSS Ironman. So sino ang susuheto dun sa mga katarantaduhan nila?
Yes, and that's both retired and active men in uniform, Ira. Ang mga sumasali dyan, di ba? May politiko, may mayor. Yung isang ang mayor na-DQ sa Mindanao Leg. Na-disqualify. Tinanong ko yung organizer, bakit? Excessive speeding. Okay? That's public knowledge naman ito. This is Mayor Randy Ecija of Senator Ninoy Aquino Town in Sultan Kudarat. Na-DQ siya. Okay? So, isa pa yan, di ba? May people in government, they should know better when it comes to rules and regulations, especially batas trapiko, di ba? Public roads eh. Pero si Mayor, siguro first time niya sumali, di ba? Carried away. Mabuti na-disqualify siya, no?
Anyway, meron tayong mga kasama, no? I mean, I'd like to ask, number one, we have an observer, si Jobert, who's been observing this event since the beginning. I'd like him to join us. And then, of course, we have our representative from the Automotive Association of the Philippines, si Attorney Robbie Consunji, who can give us a little idea. Yung bang mga karerang yan, sa kalye, sinasanction ba yan o talagang bawal ba talaga yan? Ano ba? Di ba? Medyo parang hindi na natin maintindihan. Ang daming dahilan, ang daming palusot, ang daming ginagamit.
I think
anyway, okay. Sige. Let's siguro ang una nating tanungin is Jobert Bolaños of Motorcycle Rights Organization. Jobert, good evening.
Is always governed by the FIA, which AAP is the official representative in the country. Am I correct?
FIM.
FIF.
NAMSA for motorcycle.
For two wheels.
For motorcycle, it's FIM.
For
and
two wheels,
for
it's
automotive,
FIM.
Kasi yung Ironman ata, I believe, has both cars and
Both.
motorcycles.
Yes,
I see.
correct.
Oo. 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 So may governing body when it comes to motorsports. Whether it's a race, it's an endurance challenge, it's a what they call this, yung on time all the time,
Pampagita
tulip
Rally.
rally, yeah, whatever it is, 'di ba? Any form of motorsport is governed by an international group, and one of the specification, one of the rules is you cannot have a race on public roads. Am I wrong there? Mali ba ako doon?
Okay. Ira, standby lang muna, medyo choppy ka, no? Anyway,
Sige.
we'll let Jobert answer first, no? Jobert, anong take mo dito sa nakaraang BIMC?
Okay. I'll
Go,
be talking on both sides kasi syempre kinakausap din ako ng boss, kinakausap din ako ng mga participant, kinakausap din ako ng public, ng riding public. So sinasabi ng boss that this is not a race. That's their declaration. It's not a race. So as other organizations na nagpapatakbo ng endurance, kasi hindi lang naman boss yan, ang dami niyan. All over the Philippines, ang dami nagpapa-endurance. 600 kilometers all the way up to 1,400 kilometers. All they keep on saying it's not a race. But some of the events have yung what they call first to finish. Dun pa lang iba na usapan. Okay? Next, they have awards for top finishers and so on and so forth. So doon pa lang iba na agad ang konsepto. Now, in fairness to the organizers na nagsasabi na we're not promoting racing, we're promoting tourism and all of that, here's the problem. Once the rider goes out on public roads and highways, hindi na nila hawak yung mindset yan eh. Kung gusto nyo magpatakbo ng mabilis, mapipigilan pa ba nila yan? Hindi na. So that's the reason why these accidents happen. And then, based on our rules and regulations, our laws and everything, the public road is not a racetrack, period. Okay? There's no denying that fact, and it's written in law that any racing on public roads is prohibited and punishable by law.
All right. Attorney Robbie Consoni, your turn.
Hi, good
What's your
evening,
take on
everybody.
Good evening.
Hi,
Yeah,
Rob.
the Automobile Association of the Philippines does not support doing road races or motorsports on public roads because it endangers the motoring public from the standpoint of public safety, lives, injuries, death, damage to property is at risk, no? So if you're going to ask me, is BIMC sanctioned? No, it's not sanctioned. The element there is the AAP as the FIA body in the Philippines does not sanction the Ironman Challenge, even if it has the four-wheeler event component. As far as the motorcycle component, that is the role of the FIM representative in the country, which I believe is NAMSA.
Okay. We're actually trying to get NAMSA President Maki Karapiet on board, no? Pero hindi pa yata sumasagot. Although back in 2017, in another radio program, no, kung naalala ko, NAMSA, si Maki ang nagsabi nito, no, na they join AAP in condemning events like these on public roads na hindi pumapasa sa national and international standards ng FIM. Okay, anyway, Rob, so my second question is, granting, no, kasi ang side ng BOSS, endurance race, okay, I get it. That's how they advertise it. Pero ang problema nga is, hindi naman na nakokontrol ng BOSS pagka ni-release na sila sa starting line.
My view on that kasi is when you organize a race, when you organize 3 people to go together, that is already a motorsport event. One will be faster than the other, one will be slower than the other. And that is already enough to have, once you have 3 people in the field, that's enough to conduct a sanctioned event. Okay? It's that the threshold is that small. On the other hand, when you put them all together, you know how egos are. It's human nature that one will want to be ahead of the other. And no amount of announcing that this is not a race, it is for endurance, we're not going to record the time, you must come in at the checkpoint on time. It does not stop anybody from really going beyond the speed limit. And neither is there proper coordination with the authorities for that those who are speeding be apprehended. There is no uh, showing that they have been checking the speed limit themselves, other than the GPS-based devices. And neither is there any showing that the GPS data is being interpreted and that sanctions are being granted or being imposed.
So
Okay.
anyway, so the question now is, how has the Boss Ironman Challenge gotten away with all of this? I mean, let's not kid each other. Every year, 2, 3, 4, 5 patay. Di ba? We've been pointing this out. We've been asking the Boss Ironman Challenge people, how do you control this? What are your responsibilities? Eh, parang ang lumabas yung press release nila kaninang umaga. Inuna nila yung success. We are successful. Very successful. And then they say, we are sorry about the casualties. Now, how can anything be successful if somebody is dead? That is my biggest question for all of these things. Diba? I mean, tama yung sabi ni Attorney Robin Crisoni na when you put 2 vehicles, motor vehicles, whether they're motorcycles or they're cars, when you put 2 motor vehicles on the road and tell them that they must beat each other, whether they beat each other in the slowest time or in the fastest time, karera na yun eh. It's a race. So why, ang daming semantics eh. Attorney Robbie, can this be brought to a proper legal forum para ma-discuss na at masabing, teka, baka bawal na ito baka dapat ihinto na to. Is this possible?
When you can question it, I don't know whether it is worth it. I don't know whether its odds of success are good. I mean, it displays a lot of power and influence, no doubt. When you look at the many personalities involved, no, I will not hesitate to say there are many people who are powerful in that group, no. They're influential. They set policy. They set direction. But when you look at the legal requirements for a proper race, there are just so many things they have to comply with. Whether it's the Department of Energy, whether it is the sanctioning body, whether it is an LGU permit, whether it is the payment of amusement taxes, or whether it is a traffic plan, a mitigation plan, a exit plan towards whatever, fire, injury, recovery. All of the contingencies there have to be mitigated and addressed, no. But even just the information to the general public that a bunch of 2,000 motorcycles are coming your way now seems to not be working. And that is where the danger to the motoring public starts from.
Jobert, ito hypothetical question ko sa'yo. Yung mga tinatawag nating kamote riders, sige, these scooters, tomorrow they decide we are going to make our own scooter endurance challenge.
They're doing it already.
Anong inaabot? Di ba yung public backlash na inaabot nila, yung paninita ng pulis sa kanila, yung panghuhuli sa kanila, di ba antindi? Hinuhuli sila ng pulis, di ba?
That's correct. And actually, ito nga in the years that came after Boss, doon nagsimula lahat eh. The Ironman Challenge. Then came events like the Cannonball. Remember
Yes.
the Cannonball guy? Okay, so
Yeah.
nagkaroon ng ganun. Ang dami din backlash doon. May namatay. There was a Japanese guy who died in that event, di ba? So from the years that followed the last one, kasi I'll admit to everyone, I joined one event or two events by Petron. The first one was a 24-hour event, and then the other one was a 2-day event. Pero ang ginawa ni Petron is economy run, PATP run. So of course, if you run fast, you can't win, or you can't go up the ladder kung saan ka man naka-classify. But still, there were still accidents in that event kahit na patipiran yung takbo.
Mhm.
So when the other groups, ang dami niyan from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, they conduct this on a monthly basis. And every time there's an event, there's always accidents happening. Not always fatalities, but sigurado ka every year may fatality in one of these events. And with this recent one with Boss, it's no different. Mapa big bike, mapa small bike ka, there are always kamotes. Literal na kamote joining in these events. Kahit na paulit-ulit mong sinisigaw over the microphone before flag off na hindi ito karera ha, walang karera. Follow the road regulations, follow the speed limits. Useless eh. Because the moment they get released, para mga ibong nakawala sa hawla.
Pero yung point ko dito is the simple fact na nung yung mga scooter at saka yung mga underbone ang tumira ng sarili nilang ganyang karera, pinagtulungan sila ng otoridad. Pero itong Boss Ironman, kasali pa yung mga otoridad.
Yun lang. That is the difference.
'Di ba? So, dito lumalabas yung disparity, yung mali. Pagka mahirap, dapat hinuhuli, bawal kumarera sa lansangan. Pagka mayaman, hindi, endurance run ito eh. Pwede kaming gumawa nito. 'Di ba? Isn't that the message the Boss Ironman is sending to the public?
Well, I don't know about what message they are sending, but I'm just basing it on what I see. And what I see are accidents. What I see are people speeding. What I see are people exceeding the limits of their capacity and putting not just themselves in danger, but the public in danger. That is the main point of all of this. That's why ever since then, sabi ko, wala. We cannot be in a position to support such events, but we will try to do our part in trying to make it as safe as possible, not just for the participants kasi syempre lahat nga na nadamay. Actually ito I reviewed some of the videos. Yung mga nadamay sa aksidente, it's either they're also on a motorcycle, sinalubong. But here's the question, sino yung sumalubong? Yung road user ba o yung participant? And based on the videos, it's the participant actually who counterflowed into the accident.
Kaya nga eh. That's the point. And then there's another issue, and this is another legal issue. May waiver daw. Kaya sinasabi nung organizer ng Boss Ironman, medyo hindi namin responsibilidad yung ginagawa ng mga tao sa kalye kasi may waiver naman silang pinirmahan eh, relieving us of responsibility. But hindi ba there's an established jurisprudence that a waiver can only cover so much? Attorney Consoni, am I correct?
Well, all rights can be waived so long as you know what you're waiving and so long as it's not contrary to public policy and law. No, so if I waive and I say bahala na ako kung ano man mangyari sa akin, bahala ako sa sarili ko.
Yes.
Is that proper? And does it say I absolve you from any liability against third parties? No, is that proper? That seems to be the question, because I think it's very irresponsible that you organize 2,000 motorcycles plus how many cars together, and you tell the public, I'm not responsible. They can do what they want. They will claim against you, claim against them, but I happen to mix them all together, and I put the fast cars with the slow cars, with the motoring public and the unsuspecting public, yung bumili lang ng Yossi, nandyan din, no? And that, I think, is where it is irresponsible. That you put the unclassified type of users on the road together, no? So even within the field of participants, I was trying to understand the criteria for the event. It appears that there is no pre-qualification or screening in
None.
terms of training, experience level, skill level. It seems to be lacking, and I think that is one reason why any amount of waiver there is not an assumed risk, because I will assume a risk and run a race, but because I know that they are all of the same class category, skill level as competitors, and therefore I know what the risks are. And as an organizer, I think the key responsibility is to give them the risk, but also to mitigate it.
Mhm.
And that's why when you mitigate the risks, then that's why you exclude the public, you exclude other people of the wrong class and category and size na hindi maghalo-halo sa daan dahil magmabanggaan eh, no? And then you all do all the contingencies. You have to allocate the contingencies. Kung may mabangga, kung may masagasaan, kung may masunog, anong gagawin natin, no? And kung may ma-traffic, anong gagawin natin? Kung anong perwisyo sa publiko, I think it's tipped the balance already. When you talk about the waiver, it's tipped the balance too much, too big a problem for the general public.
Here's another thought, ano? The participants signed the waiver. How about the public?
Yes.
Precisely.
How about the public? Okay, especially the public that is unaware of such event that's taking place. Take for example yung matanda, yung matandang nadamay. He doesn't know things like this is
Which makes
happening.
any waiver, di
I'm
ba?
sure he's surprised to see, oh, ang daming motorsiklo dumadaan dito. Malalaki pa, ganyan. Not knowingly na sasalpukin siya ng isa. Did he sign a waiver?
That's what I mean is the assumed risk. Because when you cross the street, you assume that there's a car coming from the right or on the left or on the one-way street or on the two-way street. You assume those things. But you do not assume that there are 2,000 motorcycles coming down your way at the top speed. That's why it's unfair.
Yeah. Actually, when the flag off before the flag off started, speakers were blaring and reminding everyone, you are in Subic. Subic has very strict rules and regulations. All the enforcement are instructed to flag you down if you go beyond the speed limit. So before the flag off, we went down and went into the main road of Subic to catch videos and pictures since we are an observer of the event. And then ito yung nakakatawa. The moment they started coming, obviously speeds were up and beyond the limits set in Subic. So I was waiting for the enforcer to start flagging down participants. But instead, what the enforcer did was he stopped the rest of the road users, the rest of the traffic, ignored the traffic light, and just, kumbaga, pointed them in their direction.
A
So,
wave through.
hataw lang. I have a
So,
few
Jobert,
videos of it actually.
Jobert, so parang ang sinasabi mo sa SBMA, mahigpit sila dyan, pero pag boss, naayos, parang ganon.
Well, I think this is the first event that was done in SBMA, and I
Yes.
remember one of the SBMA people saying that we will apprehend But the question is, did they? Did
Okay.
they or the enforcers did do anything at all? Kasi based on what we saw, wala, tinuro na lang ng enforcers kung saan sila dadiretso, saan sila dadaan, and everybody zoomed along.
Baka frustration
So
na lang.
that's probably what they
frustration
call
na lang.
coordination.
Baka
I don't know.
na-frustrate na yung baka na-frustrate na yung traffic enforcer dahil 'di ba nakakainis na kayo. Sige nga, dumaan na kayo. 'Di ba? I had a memo sent to me. This is from the Baler local government unit.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the konsehal there, one of the councilors is former PNP General Twiggy Zubia. Now, you must remember Twiggy Zubia was the Highway Patrol Group Commander during the time of General Lacson when he was the chief of the Philippine National Police. In his privilege speech, he was condemning the BOSS Ironman and even the PNP officers who were joining and allowing that race. They are now banned in Baler. They are not allowed to pass through Baler. This is a former Philippine National Police Highway Patrol Group Director. Diba? So, kung nanggagaling na sa ganung klaseng otoridad, hindi ba dapat mag-isip na itong mga taong gumagawa nito na baka naman mga boss? Or masyado lang talagang makapangyarihan yung mga nasa likod nila kaya huwag nyo nang pansinin yan.
Alam nyo, lagi ko nga pinagmamalaki ang Subic eh. Diba? Dito sa atin sa Metro Manila, no? Pag ang isang intersection, walang stoplight, free for all. Diba? Sabi ko, bakit sa Subic hindi kailangan? Bakit sa Subic, basic sa kanila yung first to stop, first to go? Diba? Kasi strictly enforced ang rules. No? Pero sa kwento ngayon ni Jobert, nabawasan na yung paghanga ko sa SBMA. Naayos pala. I mean, ayaw ko kanong rason nila. Yung ba ang tinatawag nilang coordination? Di ba? Sabi ni Jobert, imbis na hulihin, pinastop ang traffic, itinuro ang mga participants kung saan ang direksyon nila. Di ba?
Okay,
So,
another
ang
question.
priority dito, participants, hindi yung motoring public. Pero on public road sila ginagawa.
Another legal question. There was a video of a participant na naharang ng pedestrian, napahinto siya, mukhang napigil yung oras niya, bumaba, sinakal yung pedestrian. Ano yung legal implication dun for both the organizer and that rider?
I think, Ira, that's not the assumed risk I was talking about. I think that's kind of far away already for the organizer to be the principal by inducement to mananakal. No? I mean, I have to be fair about it. That's kind of far away.
Yeah. Okay. Pero kung hindi nila ginawa yun, hindi mangyayari yun eh. 'Di ba? I mean, isn't it fair to say that?
I think that's kind of far, Ira. that one, I'll be fair. That's far.
According to witnesses in that incident, the group was going through, and then two guys on a motorcycle crossed. So it kind of shook them off their motorcycles. Some of them fell. Some of them almost fell. So may nangyaring karambola nun eh. So I believe the one guy is one of those who fell, and then sinamahan lang siya ng other guy, which led to that incident nga. Pero yung nakakatawa kasi dito is, in that video, you will see that the police was present, and he was actually holding the rider already. And then, the first thing you'll notice is the big guy slapping this guy that the policeman was holding. And, the policeman, dapat, in that point, dapat hindi lang inawat yun eh. Dapat tinawakan na rin niya pareho. Teka. You're in no position to do such thing. That's an assault already. Oo, may kasalanan siya. But you don't have to go further than that. And then, yung naka-orange na umaawat, obviously, umaawat siya. He was trying to talk down the two participants. And then all of a sudden, biglang chinokehold tong naka-orange. Pagka-chokehold sa kanya, pinagsusuntok naman nung isa. So that in turn is already assault on an individual with an authority present. So what does that entail? Bakit pinabayaan nung police who was present at that time? And who are these people? But from what I heard, identified na raw yung yung other guy, yung maliit, yung mas maliit na identified na raw siya kung sino.
Alam nyo, kung tama ako, nakainom daw yung dalawang batang nakamotorsiklo. Diba?
Well, still doesn't give you the right
I know.
to assault
Yun nga,
with authority present.
you're not ang kaso, yun na nga, wala naman din ginawa yung mamang pulis, di ba?
Di ba? Parang, ewan ko.
Teka muna, meron pa isang problema eh. Dati ang problema natin, participants, no? I'm sure nakita rin ni Jobert ito. Attorney Robbie, I don't know if you've seen this video, no? Yung isang marshal naman nila na sinisigawan yung naka-e-bike na matanda.
I think that one,
Have you seen the video?
That one, Egay, is a symptom of the quality of marshalling.
Right.
It's the quality of the people that you have to marshal the public. It lacks crowd control. It lacks traffic control. The basics of getting a whistle instead of shouting at each other on the road for a marshal. I think that's what it shows.
Right. Kasi yung interview no sa GMA News, natatawa lang ako na nagsalita yung Chief of Police ng San Juan La Union. Obviously kasi hindi siya well-informed eh. Diba? Sa mga nakaraang BIMC. Sabi niya kasi, ito babasahin ko, no? Yung mga participants, sila na lang ang mag-adjust pagdadaan sila. Upon seeing that marshal, that boss marshal, iba, siga. Nanghingi pa nga eh, nagtanong pa nga, may lisensya ka ba? You know, that marshal reminded me of this. Nag-viral to itong taong to. Akin na lisensya mo. Di ba? Parang yun yung unang pumasok sa isip ko. And part of the statement of boss yesterday, blah, 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 to improve, every year to improve. Di ba? Ginagather namin ito, di namin kinakalimutan, to improve year after year. Boss, my friends from boss, at yung mga leaders ninyo, how long, ilang years pa ho ba kailangan nyo para ma-improve ninyo? Diba? Alam nyo naman sa sarili nyo na hindi nyo completely maaalis yan. Kaya lang, every year, kapalit, buhay. 1, 2, 3, hindi ko alam. Ilang nga sa akin, bakit patuloy yung itinutuloy yan? Let me ask Attorney Robbie. Attorney Robbie here is also the president of the Land Rover Club of the Philippines. Attorney Rob, tanong ko sa'yo, meron din ba kayong powerful members sa Land Rover Club?
No, wala.
Wala ko nag-face si Uncle Robbie.
Wala kaming ganyan.
Talaga wala. Magbabanggit akong pangalan.
Wala kaming ganyan.
Wala
sila ganong karera. Ito naman, no?
I know. That's why.
Do not admit. But seriously, to address the point, running a challenge, like the off-road challenge that I used to conduct, is difficult. There's so many moving parts at the same time. But there are risks that have to be addressed, and they have to be thoroughly controlled. And I think the gauge that I'd like to steer the public to looking at, even the authorities, is have all the reasonable steps been taken to control the event? Because if it cannot, or if the risks are too large, it's time to stop it. I'm not saying stop per se. I'm saying control all your risks. And if you really admit you cannot control it, then stop it.
Such
Is
Kasi
events,
19, 20 years not, Rob, Attorney Rob, is 19 or
18,
20 years
18,
not enough?
18, 18, 18 years na daw sila. 18.
Kulang pa bang 18? Kulang pa bang 18 years? Para
Para
sa'yo?
mo,
Maybe if they did a 100-meter dash of 2,000 motorbike. Pwede yun.
the way I understand it, every year it's a different group of members of the organization that conducts the race. Kumbaga, they transfer they transfer the responsibility of organizing the Ironman to different members. Parang they vote on it or something like that. But still, okay, the fact of the matter is where speed is involved, it can no longer be considered as safe or doable on public roads and highways. Why? Because
I
in
agree.
public roads and highways, we have speed limits. We have rules and regulations as far as traffic is concerned. Okay? Now, if you put in speed and if you put in time limit, then it should move into a controlled environment already. Public roads are not controlled environment. There's no way for you to control that environment because the road that you're using to conduct the event is the same road that the public is using. Yun yung main point dito. At yun yung lagi ko sinasabi. If you're going to put in aspects of safety, put in aspects of speed, time limits, and whatnot, you have to do it in a controlled environment. And the only place for that really is inside a closed course with, again, yung katulad ni sabi ni Uncle Robbie, dapat meron kang ambulance dyan, may marshals ka in every corner, you have facilities that will mitigate incidents like fire and whatnot. But with endurance events, whether it be boss or someone else, imposible nilang lagyan ang bawat taon nga lang lagyan nila, imposible na eh.
Let me just take one. You're very correct, Jobert. Thank you. Let me take just one element. The driving at night. Why is it a must that it be done at night?
yes,
Isn't that a big attending risk?
yes.
Driving at night, then it should have been eliminated if that was really a safe process. Because going back to Egai's question, when we run Land Rover Convoy, Land Rover Club Convoy, we do not drive at night. We try to garage the vehicle before sunset. And that to me is a clear example that there are assumed risks of darkness. And there is a risk that they pose to the general public at night.
Again, they will say, that's why it's called endurance.
Tsaka may
Yeah,
weaver.
pero let me I want to say this. No? I want to say this and I want to say this because maraming nag-iisip nito, wala lang nagsasabi. 'Di ba? Wala namang pakialam yung iba kung ma-disqualify sila o hindi sila manalo ng trophy. Isa lang ang gusto nilang maipakita. Kaya nilang takbuhin yung 1,200 kilometro ng pinakamabilis. Yun yung bragging right nila. They don't care if they get disqualified. They don't care if they don't get the trophy. All they know is they will tell everyone, I finished 1,200 kilometers in less than 15 hours. I'm
And
that good.
That's
That's
true.
the
That's true.
individual. That's the individual and that's the participant. Meron pang
Yes.
mas masama doon. There's something worse than that.
Mm,
It's the public who is defending and justifying this mentality na
yes.
ano daw, finisher na, tinawag pa nga yung isa na finisher daw ng bayan. What? How can you defend such lawlessness, 'di ba? So that's worse for me. That's worse for me.
Di ba? It's yan. I'm going there na. It's breeding the wrong mentality in our citizens, in our motorists, when we should be educating them in the proper use of the road, in the proper driving habits, in the proper driving discipline. Ngayon ito ang binibreed mo. Ito yung tinuturo mo sa mga tao. Okay lang yan, finisher, ang galing niya eh. 'Di ba? Doesn't matter if he broke the rules. Basta nauna siya. That's the thing we're telling them. I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but is that the right assessment?
My assessment with Ira is on the surface the storyboard is very nice. Promote safety, promote tourism. I listen to it. I listen patiently to it. But the reality is, on the ground, it's not bound to happen. And it's the human nature that kicks in, that there will be speed, there will be negligence, and it's not, again, I go back to my point that it's not the assumed risk for that format of a race in terms of volume, time of day, the distance, even the formula is all going to give you the other risks involved.
There was this one post I remember. There was this one post I remember after the Mindanao event. Nagkahamunan. Naging brand war, tapos nagkahamunan, and then they were parang trying to organize this hamunan inside the racetrack, and then the other one goes like this. Bakit sa racetrack? Hindi yan ang karera, hindi yan racetrack ng tunay na lalaki. Ang gusto nila,
dapat
race from Luzon down to Mindanao. Dinala pa rin nila sa public roads and highways yung idea.
Pero Jobert, parang nagkaayos na yata kanina o kahapon.
I don't care. You put it out in public.
Ayaw na. Well, yung isa ayaw na.
The main point there is you still put it out in public. And you let people defend you. And you allow the people to defend you without correcting these people. So, ano tawag doon? Ako tawag ko doon, konsentidor.
Yes. Lalo na pag napakarami mong followers, 'di ba? Na mini-mislead, niloloko, tinuturuan ng mali.
15 years MRO has been trying to defend rider rights, no? And this is our dilemma. Sa dinami-dami ng literal na kamote sa kalsada, it's so hard for us to go into hearings in Congress, in the Senate, in the LGUs, and in the agencies that take care of road rules and regulations. And when they present to us, current attitudes while driving, it's so hard for us to make the defense on the side of riders. Kasi nga, these people who promote the opposite of what we're trying to defend makes it so hard for us. Minsan, we get to thinking, is it still worth it to defend our fellow rider? But, I mean, I'm not trying to rant out here, but the endurance events, especially the ones that have accidents happening, and then the accidents are seen on video at kumakalat sa social media, it's not helping. It's ruining all the hard work that we have been doing. And, road safety is a shared responsibility. So, I'm hoping na, someday na, we get to the realization na wag naman natin i-promote ang pagiging kamote. I-promote naman natin ang pagiging disiplinado. Yun naman sana.
Hindi. Tsaka ang daming self-proclaimed road safety advocates na dinedefend ng BIMC. Kung hindi man dinedefend, they participants sila. And they say that they are road safety advocates.
Well, to be fair to these people, marami ako nakita na road within, okay, acceptable, talagang they made it clear na hindi sila nakikipag-unahan kahit kanino. They took their sweet time. They finished beyond 22, 23 hours. Talagang namasyal, okay? there's a couple there that I know na, pinagmamalaki niya na hindi ko kailangan makipagsabayan sa kanila. We enjoyed the route, we enjoyed the food, we enjoyed ganyan. Okay, kudos to them. But the thing is, with 1,000 and beyond participants on public roads and highways, how sure can you be na lahat sila katulad mo? You can defend yourself, but you cannot defend everyone.
Well, that's why the organizers should have screened the participants.
Well, Rob, meron ako natutunang bago kaninang umaga from Aris Ilagan. Ang sabi niya, fundraising. Yung racing, R-A-C-I-N-G. Fundraising. Sabi niya yun, hindi sa akin. Nabasa ko lang sa kanya.
Matanong ko nga, magkano ba talaga ang kinikita kasi ng organizer sa karerang yan? Let's get to one of the meat of the issues. How much money are they making?
Hindi ko alam kung yung 7.5 entry fee ng motor o ng kotse. Tapos 1.8 daw ang participants this year. May nagsasabi naman 2,000 ang participants kasi yung 1.8 daw motor lang. Meron daw almost 200 na kotse. But ang alam ko, ibang fee ng 2 wheels sa 4 wheels.
Iba din yung fee ng may angkas.
Angkas tsaka co-driver.
Oo,
may
so,
plus yun.
Just compute it at, just compute it figuratively, lagay mo at 5,000 per person. So that's 2,000 times 5,000 pesos times 2,000 participants. That's it.
10 million.
Kulang yan.
Whatever remains should be I would do this whatever remains should go to the families of those who got hurt, who died, should all go there.
What I find missing in the story is that it could have been insured and yet there's no insurance coverage.
I think there is. Parang I remember them signing a MOA with an insurance company. I'm not sure.
And
if it's them.
therefore, third-party claims should be covered so that the public, if ever, has recourse to a pot of money.
Well,
but I don't hear it. I don't hear it.
What I believe here is that the waiver, okay, if you get into an accident, the waiver puts the participant involved in full accountability. And then secondary, yung organizer, if there's an insurance, secondary na yung sa organizer. But I don't think it's enough. I don't. Honestly,
exactly.
Life, you cannot put a price on life.
Well, I was putting a price on injury and a price on damage to property.
Yeah.
Such that to limit the liability or limit the exposure or limit the unanswered element of damage or injury. No? But no steps seem to have been taken in that direction. No? I say seem to have been taken because it's not part of the story.
Wait, let me put this in. Sanda may silang. Members and officers of the BOSS Ironman Endurance Challenge were invited to this discussion. They refused. Okay? I'd just like to put it there. Kasi may mga nagsasabi, bakit walang representative ang BIMC? Ang sagot, hindi. Para lang sa kanila yung diskusyon na yan. I'm sorry, sir. We invited them. They refused to participate. Now, why? Ano ang dahilan nila? For whatever reason, I don't know. We don't know. But they refused. We can tell you that with all honesty and with a straight face. Tumanggi silang sumali sa diskusyon na to. That's all. I'd like to say that. I'd like to put it out there.
Ako, if I were given the opportunity to organize something like this, since you're in Subic already, ang daming backroads ng Subic eh. You know, we used to do rally events at the backroads of Subic. And we closed that area off. Dapat doon na lang sila nagpaikot-ikot, di ba?
Masyado raw maiksi yun. Hindi raw sukatan ng tunay na lalaki yun, Jobert. Anyway, Attorney Rob, may tanong lang ako, no? Ang dami nating nababasa online, no? Comments. Katulad nung tinanong ni Ira kanina or sinasabi ni Ira na bakit on public roads, no, lalo na pag medyo laborer ka, truck driver, jeepney driver, tricycle driver ka, no, naka-aksidente ka,
Kulong agad.
antimano,
Kulong ka
kulong
agad.
ka, 'di ba? Kulong ka. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, parang wala naman ako nabalitaan na participant na nakapatay o kahit nakasugat lang, naka-aksidente, na nakulong. Bakit ganon, attorney? Bakit iba sa mga participants ng Ironman kumpara sa mga naghahanap buhay, 'di ba? O uminom, nakatulog, kasalanan din nila, 'di ba? Pero sila, kulong agad 'yun eh. Nasa news ka pa. Why are these participants exempted or parang nasasawalang bahala?
That's a tough one. I can only guess the pressure if you were the apprehending officer or the investigating PNP officer, the pressure on you is tremendous. Immediately, you have hometown victim and you have a unknown or seemingly wealthy and influential suspect. And then you're
General mo,
confronted with
diretsuhin na natin. General mo sa PNP, kasali.
you're confronted with the whole hierarchy of the organization and the other organizations that come
So,
with it.
what will you do?
What will you do? So that's the reality on the ground. And that has always been the issue in terms of our investigating officers refuse to take a position with respect to traffic accident, incident, traffic death and injury. They always
Yeah.
wash their hands and say, i-areglo nyo na lang muna yan. Or they always
Right.
say, mag-waiver ka na lang ng detention kasi maraming magagalit sa akin at hindi kita na-detain. And then reverse. Pakakawalan ka kagad dahil influential yung suspect.
And there's actually an incident a few years back where an influential person, anak ng isang politiko, sideswiped a couple on Marcos Highway, which resulted in the death of the backrider. Na hanggang ngayon still being heard in court, and ni isang segundo hindi nakulong yung perpetrator, but video evidence proves that the side swiping was intentional. And that's just one example of that.
Okay. So,
Anyway,
gusto ko sanang himayin yung official statement ng boss. No, pero masyadong mahaba. Siguro ganito na lang, final kung meron pa kayong gustong sabihin to add to what we have tackled already, siguro Jobert, Robbie, ways to improve. Okay, but before that, gusto ko lang i-share, no? Nung Mindanao leg nila, tuwan-tuwa ako dahil may na-DQ nga. So sabi ko, paano nangyari yun? Meron na silang app, may GPS tracker na sila na ginamit sa Mindanao. Yung, where are you? The WRU, di ba? So, I said, this is nice, things are getting better. Di ba? Okay, ngayon, problema, nung BIMC Luzon na, a few days before the event, nawala yung supplier nung WRU. Nawala. So, meaning, wala na naman silang paraan para hulihin talaga yung mga nagko-commit ng speeding, di ba? So, katulad niyan, Attorney Robbie, Jobert, ano ang mga magandang suggestion para ma-improve yung event? Gusto ko lang, curious lang ako kung meron kayong masasuggest kasi ako personally, wala ako masasuggest. Kasi in terms of resources, meron ang boss niyan. Diba? Kung anumang app yan, kung manpower man yan, bayaran nila kada tao, they can afford it. But this is still happening. Lives are lost 'di ba? For 18 years, 'di ba? So, tanong ko kayo, Jobert and Attorney Robbie, any suggestions para ma-improve? Meron pa bang i-improve itong Boss Ironman Challenge?
Ako, I would say only one thing. The only way to improve such endurance event, is to take it off public roads and highways. Period.
Attorney?
I think it's time to stop the endurance challenge on public roads. It's proven that it's got too many moving parts and the risks to the public is on the high side because you cannot compromise safety here. You cannot risk one life. You cannot risk one injured leg. I think that is too high injury and damage to sustain. So I think it's time to stop.
It seems that they can afford lives eh, 'di ba? Ang sabi sa atin, ano sabi sa ano? 100,000 daw binayaran yung isa. Tapos may nag-defend, "Sir, more than 100 na ho yung binibigay na dagdagan na daw."
You can't put a price on life. Yun lang.
Yeah,
Yun lang
'di
masasabi
ba?
ko. You cannot
Yun
put
na
a
nga
price.
eh. Yes, tama ka, Jobert. Kaya hindi lang naman ako nagtataka, hindi lang naman din siguro kayo, pero ang dami nagtataka paano siya napapayagan year after year after year. 18 years, 'di ba? Sabi nga ni Attorney Robbie, the powers that be, and ni Jobert, 'di ba? Papaano nga naman yung isang mababang ranggong pulis, 'di ba, kung yung superior niya mismo magsasabi sa kanya na ayusin mo 'yan o news blackout 'yan, huwag ka sumagot sa media, wala talagang mangyayari, no? And it's really the locals who are the victims here. Oftentimes, locals, 'di ba? Kahit na ayaw nating masaktan din yung participants, pero kung mapilit sila eh, taon-taon ginagawa niyo ayun yung tumigil, 'di ba? Go. But unfortunately, damay din ng locals natin. Ang locals, 'di ba? Damay sila. And just to share, yung isang namatay, no? Ang alam ko dalawa eh. Anyway, yung Joel Corpus Larco. Ito yung nasa San Juan, La Union, ano?
Yeah. Died in the three motorcycles are involved. The second one hit the guy head on sa counterflow.
Yes. I saw them being interviewed by Bombo Radio La Union. So, nagtanong lang din ako kung pwede sana silang ma-interview, no? Naintindihan ko naman yung sagot nila, no? Hindi na daw muna sila magpapa-interview and please let us grieve. Yun ang sabi, no? But I forgot the translation nung interview sa Bombo Radio. Ira is also an Ilocano. But I think offline na yata si Ira. Ira, are you still with us? Kasi
I'm
sa
here.
interview,
I don't know.
naintindihan ni Ira yung Ilocano. Ano sabi sa interview, Ira?
Hindi, sinasabi lang niya kung hindi karera yun, ba't ang tulin-tulin? At saka biglang nanggaling sa kung saan. Sabi nila hindi daw karera. Pero bakit ang bilis? 'Di ba? Yun yung ano eh, yun yung gist nung pagkasabi. 'Di ba? But this has dragged on too long. Our conversation has dragged on too long, and to be honest, we've discussed most of everything that needs to be discussed. Our discussion has reached a point where I just want to ask the last few words from our guests. Jobert, what can you say? Last few words before we say goodbye to this episode.
Do it on the
Ang sama
racetracks,
pakinggan
not
ng
on the
last
street.
few words.
Yun na lang po yung sa akin. From the words of my father, Mio Bolaños, do it on the racetrack, not on the streets.
Well,
Thank you, Jobert.
I was hoping to hear something new
Attorney
from you
Casini.
guys. I was hoping to hear something new that I have not considered in forming my opinion. And I think it was the reverse. A lot of it was confirmed as far as the extent of injury and extent of death and the extent of risk and extent of negligence. And that only confirms my earlier opinion that an endurance race on public road has to stop.
Well, I guess yun na yun eh. Again, we tried to invite the guys from BIMC, but wala naman nagpunta. So, hindi ko alam kung anong paliwanag nila tungkol dun sa isyung yon. And I mean, I would have loved to hear what they had to say, what their ideas are. Kasi, to be honest, we've been discussing our point of view. We don't have their point of view. But, siguro next time, pag lumamig na, baka gusto na nila magpaliwanag pagka malamig na ulo ng mga tao kasi maraming mainit ang ulong tao ngayon eh. 'Di ba?
Baka ikaw ang may ayaw sila imbitahin eh. Mainit ulo mo eh.
Hindi, lagi mainit ang ulo ko. Diba?
Anyway.
Natural ni Boss Ira yan eh.
Anyway, pasalamatan na natin mga bisita natin. Jobert Bolaños of Motorcycle Rights Organization. Jobert, maraming salamat, bro. Alam mo, bilib ako dito kay Jobert kasi more than 10 years na, no? He's been leading
15.
the MRO for 15, my God, 15. And minsan yung mga post mo, nakikita ko, minsan sabi ko, buti hindi pa inaatake sa puso to si Jobert kasi I know, I salute you, bro. Maraming salamat and sana pagpatuloy mo yung...
Pwede mag-plug.
Oo naman.
Bisitahin nyo naman ako sa Rider Talk. Every Thursday, Rider Talk.
Every
Yo
Thursday.
TV.
Sure. Thank you. And of course, AAP trustee, Attorney Robbie Consuni, your few words, Rob. Again.
Maraming salamat. I enjoyed the chat. I enjoyed learning from you guys, and let's stay safe on the road.
Okay, can we expect a similar endurance race from LRCP?
Tigilan mo na yan. Hindi nila gagawin yan. Masyado mabagal yung gusto nila. Diba? Masyado mabagal yung bakbakan doon.
I wanna announce on air your powerful members eh.
Wala nga eh.
Biro lang.
Wala.
Okay,
guys. Anyway, thank you very
guys.
much. Thank you very much, Robert. Thank you very much, Attorney Consuni. Thank you very much, people, for watching. We were at a high of 120 viewers tonight. And thank you. I think this was a very interesting night. Neil?
Nag-freeze ha. Ayun. Okay.
Pero wala kang boses.
Yan. Okay na.
Ayan. Okay. So, we go bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday. We'll have another crazy discussion on topics on the road. But in the meantime, we'll say bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Good evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.